call the meeting to order. Mr. Raleigh, can you do the roll call, please?
Sure.
Mr. Raleigh, your mic will have to be close. You don't have to push it, just have it close. There you go.
Okay. Board Member Bender? Present. Board Member Blassingame?
Present.
I'm present. Board Member So?
Here, present.
And Board Member Okpara.
Present.
All right, all five are here. So,
Good. Mr. Bender, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ready? Begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. At this time, we would like to pause in a moment of silence to remember the following retired AVUSD family member no longer with us. Retired Apple Valley Unified School District family member, Freddie Police. Thank you very much. For public comments, we have two public comments. One of them will hold off just in case she has extra time to give to the first one. Mr. Chris Watkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, and this is Nelson and Cabinet, Administrative Cabinet. Okay, you'll be able to hear me. I don't know if the. Okay. All right. So, on behalf of AVUSD, I came here today just to give you some information for you to have some additional consideration based upon what our reopeners were. And so over the years, I've conducted an extensive study of a retirement benefit. And I went through a lot of school districts, probably about 85 to 90 school districts over these years. And initially I started my study with San Bernardino County and to say, hey, where do we line up as us compared to our neighbors, compared to like districts, and so on. And so I conducted a study of San Bernardino County. And out of those counties, 25 out of 33, or excuse me, out of those districts, 25 out of 33 have a retirement benefit in place for their teacher body. And then so what I did is I shared with you some of these districts that do not have that. And you'll see Baker School District, Mount Baldy, Needles, Hellendale, Lucerne Valley, Oro Grande, and Snowline. I also attached the enrollments of some of those districts, and I think we could probably all agree that several of those are not like districts, just based upon enrollment. That source that I used was eddata.org. And so the total of all those school districts is 15,000 and 15,287, and Apple Valley has 14,700 of our enrollment. And so if you look at that, if you take those districts out and just say, what do we compare to? 92.6% of San Bernardino County districts has a retirement benefit in place for its teachers. We currently do not and have not. And we've made this argument before, and it has said, what has been out there is we cannot afford it. And so I said, well, okay, let's extend this search. And so we extended the search into Orange County. And if you look at 27 out of 28 school districts in Orange County have this benefit. 21 out of 23 in Riverside County have this benefit. And so then I thought, all right, per pupil mix. I find it hard to believe that we have less pursuit in ADA of, let's say, Saddleback or Irvine or Tustin or Newport Beach or Huntington Beach, but yet they have found a way to afford and see the value in this for their teachers, okay? So if you add this raw number up, all three counties, and then what I also did is took Lancaster, Palmdale, and Antelope Valley school districts, because those are like districts, even though they're LA County, and that raw number is 87.3% of Southern California, which puts us in this bottom 10th percentile. If you pull those districts out that I pulled out in the San Bernardino County, Baker, Mount Baldy, et cetera, 93.8% of Southern California, not adding Los Angeles Unified, which we all know has this, 93.8%. And so then we have to ask the question, is this an affordability issue or is this a philosophical issue? So the philosophy then would be is to explain why it cannot be done or should not be done. Because the data shows that it's being done, and it's not just being done, but it's the industry norm. And so without this benefit, we then have to take a look and think, how are we marginalizing our competitiveness in the market share? Because I would argue we certainly are. And I think business practices would agree with that. The second page is a retirement healthcare expense analysis. Basically what I did, and these are some hypotheticals, but I would argue that they're very close hypotheticals. We have had discussions with multiple people in our organization that have said they will stay, they have stayed additional years because there is nothing in place from a retirement healthcare benefit. And so they've stayed longer. And if you look at that, the additional person making about 111,000 per year in those latter years, it's going to be plus or minus a little bit. So they're on the system for an additional $333,000. The replacement employee, our interns are making about 49,000 and change. But what I did is said, we're not going to use that as a number. We're going to bump that number up to 53 in the first year, 56 in the second, 60 in the third. Just based upon if that person stays to what they could have replaced with, there's $164,000 savings. Our annual health and welfare costs, the average employee exercises probably about 5 years of coverage. You know, people are going to be going out at that 60-ish number, plus or minus a couple years, okay? Employees and spouse coverage for COBRA, you have those rates there. If you look at 15,000 times 5 years, that's 75,000. 7560 times 5 is 3780. That's the COBRA plus one or the single rate. The total savings is 89,000. The total savings for a single employee is 126. 89,000 covers an employee's health and welfare for 5.23 years at the smaller number. That's not factoring in any of the singles, not single plus one, but singles. So that number of what that coverage could be is much more than 5.23, okay? But again, I'm going to use conservative numbers so that it makes sense. It makes sense to us, it makes sense to the district, it makes sense as fiduciaries to a public trust. The STRS costs are at 19.1%, and those numbers have subsequently been updated from this. They're a little bit different, and it actually, so it's a little more. But if you look at those costs for STRS, your higher employee is a higher expense to the district, and you'll see that. So the replacement employee and their expenses, the STRS savings is $31,000, okay? So the back page kind of sums that up. And if I've gone past my time, I do appreciate the respect given for it. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions. We're going to discuss this when we go back in. Thank you so much. The next, thank you. You don't have anything else? to say? All right, thank you so much. We need a motion to go into closed session to discuss the following items.
Well, do we have other people that that are here to speak? Do we want to do this before we go into closed session so that we don't leave people hanging?
Do you want to amend the agenda to have
Yeah,
the
I think
student
we should.
representative
We-
speak?
It'll be a long closed
I
session.
think that we should amend the agenda to hear from the students so we can let you guys go. So, and then we can
Let the
go back
student
to
go
the
first.
business.
Yeah.
If that's.
So you need a
if that's-
motion to amend the agenda, and then you need a vote to do so.
Let's see, I make the motion that we amend the agenda and move back.
It's C2?
Item C2.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, C2?
Got a second on that?
Second.
Okay, second by Adeline.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Who can hear you?
Aye.
Okay, can we go to C2? I will need a student report from Granite Hills High School, Erin Forget.
We've been watching you online in every meeting. so
Time
now
to
it's good
see you in person.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Nelson, and attendees. I am so excited to be standing in front of you today to update you on Granite Hills. First, on behalf of everyone at Granite, I want to thank Mr. Schollenberg and his team, our cafeteria staff, and our yearbook staff. Mr. Schollenberg and his team worked tirelessly to make it so that our students were able to have transportation to school. Our cafeteria staff have ensured our students get meals safely every day. And our yearbook staff is pushing for more in-person events so we have photos to add to the yearbook. Would you like me to wait until you lower the mic? Okay. All of these amazing people have made our return so much smoother, and we could not be more thankful for them. It would be impossible, though, for me to talk about all of the wonderful things we're doing at Granite without first talking about our return to school itself. We're so thankful that hybrid learning has given our students the first day experience that many clearly wanted. It was so great to have students back on campus and in class. Our ASB students helped freshmen and other lost students to find their classes. So overall, the day went smoothly. As we return to campus, we are working to commemorate our teams who competed virtually this year. Our mock trial team has an awards ceremony tomorrow to celebrate their work from last semester. As of right now, we also have 10 students competing in the Skills USA state virtual competition. We hope that we will be able to celebrate them in person when their season ends as well. Skills USA students are not our only students competing right now, though. Many of our sports teams are back in season. Our cross-country team has already finished their season, participating in 4 meets and placing second in Desert Sky League. The successful end for our team provided closure for seniors, and it was a great beginning for our athletic department this year. Our football team is 1-1 as of now and are still competing. This is the first we've ever had Friday night lights in April, but we're so pleased with how this season is going that it's a welcome change. Both our tennis teams have a full schedule this year, meaning they will play their usual 15 games. Our boys team is 4-0 and our girls team is 3-1. Desert Sky League play starts next week, and we think league titles for both are a definite possibility. Our girls and boys soccer team are both 2-1 in preseason right now and will also start league play next week. Due to their highly successful preseason, we anticipate them bringing home league titles as well. Our softball team is full of young players, but they're showing a great promise, and I just got an update that they won a game tonight, and they will start league play as well next week. Our baseball team is a strong team who are currently 2-0 in preseason play and will also enter into Desert Sky League next week. While we're unsure of when track and field will resume, we're hopeful for 4 to 5 meets when they do. Overall, our athletes and athletic department are so excited to be back in their element and are already showing great promise for the league play they soon enter into. The past few weeks have been full of excitement, and we cannot wait to see what the rest of the year holds. Thank you all for your time this evening, and always remember, maroon and gray lead the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aaron. Apple Valley High School, Moselle Sia.
That's good. Thank you. Good evening, esteemed board members. I am so excited to finally be reporting to you live in person. We at AVHS have had an extremely eventful month. We started off March with a virtual high school awareness night for the incoming freshmen. We also hosted a virtual talent show, and the winners will be announced next week and will be given prizes. Results came in for our students who competed in Skills USA and SLC, many of them moving on to state. Our Sensations and Vocal Motion choirs are preparing for a musical recital. We had 2 home football games, as well as a couple games away in which our boys dominated. At our game against Sultana, we had a senior day for our football boys and cheerleaders. Next Friday, we are having our last home game of the season. Our National Honor Society is planning to host a hygiene product drive to donate to the Victor Valley Domestic Violence Shelter. Next week, our Key Club is hosting Kindness Week, in which there will be different activities to promote showing kindness to yourself and others. This Monday and today mark the first days back in person for our A and B group students. The students, as well as our Sun Devil staff, were ecstatic to be back on campus. The school was decked out with welcome home posters, and the Sun Devil spirit was reflected in everyone's smiles, even behind the masks. Next Monday, our seniors will get to experience Senior Sunrise. Our administrators, as well as our senior class ASB members, are working hard to make sure that the class of 2021 gets the send-off they deserve. As San Bernardino County moves tiers, we are able to plan more events in alignment with COVID guidelines, of course. Although we are starting hybrid learning, our principal, Ms. Howell, is continuing to host weekly trivia nights. Even though we are starting hybrid learning, I'm so sorry. Everyone at AVHS is thrilled to see things moving in a positive direction. Thank you so much for your time, and always remember, Sun Devil pride is contagious.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to hear from reports from the union representative.
Actually, are
we're gonna
you
finish that.
amending that too? Are you
Sure, I
gonna,
think we should
Yeah,
just,
we'll just go all the way to number
Fine.
everybody
3.
going and we can.
all fine?
We'll go, because we amended C, so we
Yes,
just,
they'll probably
gonna-
stick around because there'll be readouts potentially from closed session. So
Yeah,
the
we will-
students, you're
we'll
fine.
stop at 4. We won't do 4 and 5, and then we'll come back for a closed session and do those 2.
Okay, then if you'll amend the agenda for the record to move all of C,
C to number 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3, yes.
Yes. And then we'll bring it back when we return. We'll pick up 4 and 5.
Now, you may have an issue because it wasn't scheduled this way. So if CSEA is here for the second session, you will have to amend to allow them to
Correct.
read as well. Yeah, they're at a meeting
Yeah,
currently.
so, we'll do whatever we have to do. I think we need to do whatever we have to do to have the students go back to do their homework.
Christy said, Kim is here. So
You will wait, okay.
All right.
All right.
it's up to you guys. I have,
No.
she's here.
Oh, she's here, but I don't think she's ready to go straight.
She's
to
not.
it.
And I-
Is she ready to go?
Sorry, Madam President of CSEA, they were discussing amending the agenda to have you do reporting now, and we were just going to have you report when you came in after we went into closed session. However, they're more than willing to amend the agenda so that you don't have to stick around unless you want to hear readouts after closed
Right.
session.
So we can go.
Okay,
Is everybody good?
that'll work.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to go forward with amending the agenda with 1, 2, and 3 being moved now,
So
you'll have
moved.
to still, She just so moved. It's
Any
2 and 3.
second?
Yeah, I said so moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay.
So you're going to pull CSEA. C3?
So we're going to C3, California School Employee Association, CSEA. Do you have a report for us?
You're up.
Don't trip.
You want to address the mic?
Good evening. Thank you.
So far away. Okay.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this evening. A couple of you may know me formerly as Kim Asbeth. My name has changed. I'm now Kim Calvin, Mr. So, Mr. Bender. To those of you I haven't had an opportunity to introduce myself to in person, Ms. Opara, Blankenship, and Raleigh,
That's me.
thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this evening. CSEA represents more than 200,000 members in 900-plus chapters. I am proud to say that our chapter's working relationship with our district and our agreements are often held as an example to the other chapters throughout the state. I've been actively involved in this chapter for more than 20 years. During this entire time I have served, we have yet to file a formal grievance. And only once before can I remember an unfair labor practice prior to my tenure here. This says a lot about our working relationship, the working relationship between CSEA and the district. And I'm very pleased and happy to know that we're all dedicated to working together, rolling up our sleeves, and taking advantage of solution opportunities. We have no problems here. Not everything is easy, but we all work together for solutions. Our contract and subsequent agreements are the result of the dedication and hard work from both sides of the table. Our contract is a binding agreement negotiated in good faith by both sides. CSEA is dedicated to respecting the words on every page within it. And we hope that you, as the leaders of this board, wish to continue with that dedication. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Apple Valley Unified Teachers Association, AVUTA.
Good evening, board members and AVUSD administration. We did it. All of us, AVUSD admin, you, the board, classified, and AVUDA worked very hard to get the students in grades PS12 who wanted in-person instruction.
Thank you. The stream won't pick you up.
Who wanted in-person instruction back on campuses. I am very proud of how we worked as a team and how quickly it came together. There have been some hiccups, especially with the internet, but we can't expect perfection on the first week. The high school teachers' stories have been making me laugh. We have to remember this is the first time for most of them to see their students in person since March of 2020. They are getting a lot of, wow, you look different than from the screen. Or even the teachers are saying to the students, wow, you look taller or shorter than expected, or who are you? Because they have the mask on, right? So some of the teachers, they've even given homework assignments that ask the students to bring in an item that the teacher would recognize them from the Zoom background or from the Zoom session.
That's great.
But they made one caveat, no animals, because, been there, done that. Last Friday night, as I was driving, I looked up and I had to smile. I felt like I was seeing hope that we are making significant progress with this pandemic, especially with in-person school events. I saw for the first time AVHS football stadium lights on since last fall for me.
Yeah.
Before going into closed session tonight, you heard Chris Watkins talk about our retirement insurance. And during closed session, I'm positive Mr. Conrad will speak to you guys about our progress in negotiations. I am very proud that we are working so well and we have changed the way we have negotiated from the past. I just ask that you really think about what we are doing, because many teachers in California have received bonuses this year, including our high desert colleagues. Some high desert districts have even settled compensation for this school year. AVUSD asks that you keep an open mind to what we have asked for and all the work we have done since last March, despite the changes we have had to make, sometimes with only a 24-hour notice. Thank you for all your support throughout this pandemic. We hope you visit our campuses and see our teachers and students hard at work in person while simultaneously teaching online students. They amaze me every day with what they continue to do, and they are truly superheroes to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now we're going to get ready to go into closed session, but I know that the students are going to be leaving. I wanted to let you know we are really, really happy to see you in person. I wish we could get out and hug you, but we have to maintain social distancing. And we wish you all the very best. Looking forward to finally making it into your schools to see you guys do what you do best. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out today. Now, we need to go into closed session.
I make a motion, we go to closed session.
Second.
He's gonna read what.
Sure. Okay, so we're going into closed session for items 1 through 8. Number 1 is pupil personnel annual review, AR 34-20-21. Number 2, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment, transfer, leave, title, certified, and classified employees. Number 3, public employees, appointment, resignation, retirement, reduction for certificated and classified employees. Sorry about that. Water. Number 4, conference on litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection A, current litigation, 5 cases, CIVDS 1813952, CIVDS 1907172, CIVDS 2011183, CIVDS 2022956, CIVDS 2023366, Government Code Section 549454.5, subsection C and subsection D2. And E1, anticipated litigation, 3 cases, 2018, 1907, 2020, 21, 05, 2020, and 2006. Number 5, conference with labor negotiator, agency negotiator Dustin Conrad, Apple Valley Unified Teachers Association. Number 6, conference with labor negotiator Dustin Conrad, employee organization, California School Employees Association. Number 7, conference with labor negotiator, agency negotiator Trinae Nelson, employee organization, unrepresented. And then finally, number 8, superintendent evaluation. So with that,
I ask for a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
second that, make a motion that we move into closed session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thanks, Maisel. Thanks, Aaron.
Call the meeting to order.
And as we did before the closed session, we did amend the agenda to move items C2 and C3 to prior to closed session. So we're moving on to C4.
Correct. So will the clerk please read out any action taken in closed session?
Yeah, just give me a sec here.
Can we turn on a little louder? We can hear here.
We didn't hear your mic.
I'll speak loud. I just got to get them in order here. Okay. During closed session, with conference with labor negotiator on a motion by Okpara, a second by Blassingame, the Board of Trustees approved the following. Approved the Apple Valley United Teachers Association's memorandum of understanding regarding reopening 7 through 12 schools during COVID-19. And it was on a 5-0 vote, for approval. On B5, again, on a motion by Okpara and a second by Bender, the Board of Trustees approved the following. Approved to accept the current PARS supplementary retirement program for the certificated employees who have submitted their resignations and PARS paperwork on a 5-0 vote for approval. B6, conference with labor negotiator on a motion by Okpara, a second by So. The Board of Trustees approved the following. Approved the memorandum of understanding with the California School Employees Association, Chapter 828, dated March 11th, 2021, regarding the PARS supplementary retirement plan for the 2021 school year on a 5-0 vote for approval. And finally, B6, conference with labor negotiator on a motion by Okpara, a second by So. The Board of Trustees approved the following. Approved the memorandum of understanding with the California School Employees Association, CSEA, Chapter 828, dated February 23rd, 2021, regarding COVID-19 safety plan on a vote 5-0 for approval. And that, Madam Chair, will be the
Thank you
closed
very,
session recording.
thank you very much. The board may approve the agenda as is or add and/or pull items from the consent agenda for discussion and/or action. We need to adopt the agenda as is. I need a motion.
I'll
So
move the item.
move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a presentation by Mr. Schlosser.
Yes, thank you. And I'll go ahead and see if I can share screen here. It looks like I've, yeah, give me just a moment to grab that screen up there. There it is.
Mr.
Oh,
Schlosser
there you
is
go.
going to have to stay at the dais because of the streaming so that people that are watching live can hear. He won't be walking around like we're used to.
Well, he can't help himself. He's getting up.
No, I think he's going to come
Oh,
up.
he's
here.
gonna go back there.
Did you could stay at your seat.
Okay. Sound good?
Yes.
That's good.
Okay, excellent. You have this presentation in front of you. It's a brief set of slides that I prepared to make sure that we were tracking together the development of the ethnic studies. It looks like this one.
Okay, got it.
The most recent updates at the state of California from the state board. And so to give a little background and take a look first, just a reminder of the demographics of our town versus the demographics of our district. And so this is straight from the California Department of Education, most recent data that we reported, as well as from the town of Apple Valley and what they have on their website regarding their most recent demographic study. And so you'll notice there is some discrepancy. Our students are not exactly the same in demographic makeup as our town residents. That's just a note to just note the difference, that we are a town whose demography does not particularly exactly track, partially because we have a large retirement community, and there's some other reasons for that, but that seems to be part of the difference. Notably, the discrepancy in white and Hispanic town residents versus the students. The background of the ethnic studies curriculum is this. In 2016, there was legislation that called for the development of a framework. Over 4 drafts and lots of public comment. There were versions presented. Every version a little different. Some had lots of different groups. The most recent version, and I pulled this directly from the framework. Essentially, this model curriculum focuses on 4 ethnic groups in its most recent form. This one that was approved as a guidance document for high schools. And I'll let you kind of take a look at that. So that this has been a 5-year process with thousands of public comments to get to this point. The general principles in the development of the course, this was in the law, as they were to design a course, were these. It had to be accurate and research-based. It had to adhere to what we also have adopted as a district, which is the shifts in the history social science framework. And really those shifts have to do with using evidence to make claims, to do inquiry-based discussions and analysis of historical events. And the rest there. Again, alignment with the Common Core state standards and the various other standards related to text. And of particular interest probably to this board is the promoting civic engagement. The current state, where we are now, the State Board of Education adopted not a course, but a guidance document for high schools. Now the curriculum framework is supposed to be K-12. What was adopted and agreed to, however, is for high schools. And in that guidance document is included sample courses already approved by the University of California and offered in various schools across the state. For example, there's a course at a high school up north. It's a year-long, actually an English language arts course that is an ethnic studies course. It counts in that district, it counts for students in there as a language arts, one of their 4 required language arts courses for the university and for graduation. Other course samples include a year-long social science elective, a UCG elective course, and then another sample course in the document is a semester social science elective. Remember, we have social science courses that are electives in our system too. For example, economics is a social science elective. These would be additional courses that would be in addition to, not in replacement of, world history, US history, and US government. Just a reminder, there are the 16 courses required for the A through G completion, and most students already satisfy the G. We are not in need of G courses. Students don't typically need one. They only need one, they get several. So the other thing to remember is at this moment, this is a guidance document. It is not a mandated course for graduation at this time. So some considerations for us, and actually these are considerations called out in the state guidance document. 1, they say, consider your local context. We'll look at that in a moment and look at the language they use to ask us to do this work. Gather community input. Gather student input. Surveys. And it's a reminder also, there is pending legislation that could make this a mandate. It could be a required course for graduation. It is not now, but there is a current bill pending. But we, of course, there's always lots of ideas. We don't know which of them becomes law. Here's what the board said about this. Acknowledging that it's not a mandate, it's intended to supply local school districts with the background, ideas, and examples to begin local discussions on expanding these offerings. Here's what we've already done that you've already been privy to. The Diversify Our Narrative group, the students who came virtually and had comments read by Kylie at a board meeting, 6 months ago. That group has been heavily engaged in our work as we've been adopting text. In fact, they were consultants in the adoption of our most recent language arts curriculum, and we're meeting with them to finalize some supplemental novels that are going to do exactly what both this framework call for, but also what they have asked for, which is representation in the literature that's read in schools. So we're going to be focused first on 9th and 10th grade, but we're going to expand the offerings 7, 12. And again, we've also updated our adoptions. As you saw, the social science curriculum most recently adopted had an expansive examination of all contributors to California, U.S. history, California and U.S. history. So what's next? We want to follow. First of all, we don't adopt courses typically late in the year like this. This is something that should be carefully considered, and the adoption should happen in December, between December and February, because high schools need to get that on the choice sheet by March so that students can be selecting courses for the following year. We should, I believe, follow the guidance of the state board by doing the following. Next fall, let's convene a study group of parents, students, as called for in the document. Let's deploy these surveys, gauge interest, and then build a program with lots of good sample documents that meets the needs of our students in Apple Valley. So that's where this work is. I know this is of great interest to the board, so I wanted to give you where we are at this moment, and then I'll pause here for questions.
I have a question, obviously. My question is, we have students who will be going to the UC and CS universities coming up. And I think one of them is requiring that they do a 1 year of ethnic studies in their first year of college entrance. My challenge that I'm having, and I'm asking that question all the time, is if we have any of our students that is ready to go to any one of those universities, they are going to lose out one whole semester or however long it takes at the UC system or the Cal State system because they did not get the exposure they needed in our K-12 system so that they could test out and then continue with their course of study when they go off to college. So that's where my challenge is, that I want to be sure that our students who are getting ready to go off to the college coming up this coming year, that they are not behind because we didn't provide them with those programs that they need to have in order to continue on with their course of study.
Here's what I don't know about that question. Much like calculus or physics, foreign language, or any other subject we teach, if our students take the course in our system as a requirement for entry, it does not negate the requirement for those students to also take that course at the college level unless they take and pass an AP exam or they somehow they demonstrate college level mastery. So my question would be, and I have to research this with the other courses because I saw it nowhere. Do these requirements you state, are they met by simply a high school course, or must it be an advanced placement level course, which I think is an entirely different discussion. So I have some research to do on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other questions? Back to the Invincibles then. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Time for public comments. Kylie, do you have public comments?
We do not.
Superintendent comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to take the time that this week, everyone is celebrating the return to in-person instruction across all segments within our district. As a county, we did move to the orange tier, and Governor Newsom has announced that as of June 15th, the current color coding system will sunset. That still includes masks for students on campus. We anticipate that not going away in the near future. We held our final district advisory committee on Monday night regarding the local control accountability plan. The committee gave immense feedback through a process using thought exchange that is actually on the consent agenda. And they came to consensus about specific supports to students that align to our supplemental and concentration funds intended for those kids and will be utilized for those students. We've also received confirmation that California will be allowed to offer alternative standards aligned assessments in this spring. As you know, this time of year, we're usually in the midst of CASP, and we right now are in the process of, the information has just been delivered. We just found out last night that it has been approved. There were several meetings today. There's another meeting tomorrow. Right now, we're considering our options. We recognize that our in-person students, if we use CASP, the majority of the time in person would be used to test under CASP. Federal program monitoring was done through a virtual visit this week. That was months and months of documentation that the Educational Services Department did along with the business office and the Human Resources office and every school site that had an identified area to focus on. They had an outstanding exit. In fact, they didn't even want to have an exit meeting because there was only one finding that is something that we have 45 days to correct. One finding in a federal program monitoring is something to celebrate. Mrs. Smith in Ed Services doesn't think it's a celebration. She wants 0 because she has had 0 in the past, but we are so proud that that was the outcome. The annual Williams facility visits were delayed due to COVID. However, they were anticipated to be in district this week to visit at Phoenix Academy and High Desert Premier Academy. That was delayed 1 week. They will be here next week. And as a reminder, we will be posting a special, bless you, special board meeting. Everybody has them. A special board meeting tomorrow with a single item, which is the presentation from CSBA. This is the work for the governance team that has to do with it's called Good Beginnings. And so we'll be here on Monday. It posts tomorrow. There will be no closed session during that meeting nor any other agenda items. And then for quite some time, Sandia Elementary School has, along with their community, students and staff have been working on some ideas regarding their rebranding of their mascot. They've worked hard and are ready to share plans for the retiring of the hedgehog and the Keep Rolling Along motto. And at our next board meeting, you will receive a presentation from one of their students about their desire to adopt a new mascot that represents a wide range of student ages, one that preschoolers and 8th graders alike will be quite proud of. And I've had a preview and I'm excited that they get to share this with you. And finally, this is Autism Awareness Month, and I just want to remind everybody, we serve a lot of autistic children within our district, and I'm so proud of the service that we provide to those students. We were on spring break on Autism Awareness Day. It was April 2nd, but the entire month of April is dedicated to autism awareness. So thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Blassingham?
Comments?
I just would like to congratulate and honor Mrs. Nelson and the administrative team of our district on a well-planned out and return to class. I also would like to sit there and congratulate the girls from the 2 high schools that did their presentations.
Thank you. Mr. So?
No, I just want to echo what Adeline has said, and I hope that we can be safe enough that we do celebrate the graduation class this year. Okay, because I have received comments from parents about, say, well, our kids missed the graduation. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Bender?
No, I'm just very happy that we're starting in-person learning again. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Raleigh?
No comments, thank you.
Maria Para, I just want to thank the staff from all of our schools, our parents, the community, and our children for returning safely from the pandemic, and I'm hoping that we continue to stay safe so that we can celebrate 4th of July and all of the other holidays with some safety. Thank you. Discussion action sessions. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees discuss and take action on the following items. Approve the certificated and classified personnel actions as listed. All in favor? I need a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay. Approve the requested leaves as needed.
I'll move that item as well.
Who's second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approve the recommendations of the administrative hearing chairperson on the following discipline matters effective immediately. Annual review AR 3420-21 be readmitted to Apple Valley Unified School District. Students have met their terms and conditions of their rehabilitation plans. Annual review AR 3420-21.
Move for approval.
Because it's streaming.
Oh, you want me to start all over?
No, you're fine.
It's Mr. Bender that he can hear.
No, they just need to get the
Okay.
mics closer.
Everybody.
All right.
I'll make a
um,
motion that we approve the recommendation of the administrative hearing
Second.
chairperson.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Um,
I'll move number 4 as
Delegate,
well.
delegate authority to the Assistant Superintendent Administrative Services to execute the construction management agreement and all necessary amendments with California Professional Management for the AVUSD district-wide HVAC assessment and replacement project. I need a motion.
We have a motion from Adeline, and I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approve, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees consider approving a number of agenda items as a consent list. Consent
I'll move 1
items,
through 19, Madam Chair.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. If any items were pulled, we don't have any. Do we have a superintendent's comment?
No, I'm done.
No more?
Thank you.
Ms. Blassingame?
No, she doesn't.
Mr. So?
No.
Mr. Bender?
Nope.
Mr. Raleigh?
No.
Okpara? No. Signing of documents, we can sign the documents now, or we can vote to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Meeting adjourned.
thank you. Yep.